I've been using the iPhone 17 Pro for the past 3 months now, and every year I end up asking myself the same question. Do I actually need the Pro model, or am I just paying for features that I don't actually use? As a working photographer and videographer, I shoot a lot using my dedicated cameras and lenses, but I also still shoot quite a bit on my iPhone. I use my iPhone for work. Sometimes I get hired to shoot stuff on the phone. I use it when I travel, and I use it at home all the time to capture home videos of my family. And I've been using the Pro model phones for the past few years, pretty much since the iPhone 13 mini, one of my favorite phones. The hype from the iPhone 17 launch has died down a little bit, so what's actually stuck? I think people misunderstand how much of the Pro iPhone experience actually happens when you intentionally switch into camera mode. On paper, this device is incredible, but in real life, you need to choose to use it differently to see all the benefits. So I've used and owned a whole bunch of cameras. I've got a couple Sonys, some Fujifilm cameras, some action cameras, and the images that come from these cameras are incredible. They've got shallow depth of field, the resolution is insane, and the colors are just incredible. But better doesn't always mean that those cameras get used. When I'm getting hired for a job, those are the cameras that I'm going to be reaching for first. The client is paying for an exceptional product, and that's what I'm going to deliver them. But on the day-to-day, often these aren't the cameras that I'm reaching for. The bodies of these cameras are larger. I got to figure out what lens to bring, sometimes more than one. I got to make sure it's charged. There's a little bit of friction to bringing a larger camera along with you. Generally, on the day-to-day, my photos and videos are of my family. They're of my food, they're of sunsets that I've seen. They're just general real life moments that I want to capture. What's interesting is that I find that I'm actually reaching for ViscoCam or Kino or even the Moment Pro camera app using the natural processing more and more. These apps or these cameras have a more natural kind of look, less of the iPhone looking HDR raised shadows kind of look. And plus, you don't need to edit these photos and videos once you've taken them in these apps. It's funny because the iPhone can take really incredible photos and videos, but I'm looking for more of a natural look. Something that's not over-processed, something that's not over-sharpened. On the day-to-day, if there's a really cool moment unfolding in front of me that I want to capture on video, generally, I'm usually capturing it in Kino. I've talked about Kino before, I don't want to talk about it too much, but this app gives you really beautiful looking videos straight out of camera, no editing required. And the way this works is it uses the Pro capabilities of your phone. It's using the log profile, the thing that you only get on the Pro iPhones. It captures a wide dynamic range of the highlights and the lowlights and really incredible colors, and it spits out a really beautiful image that you didn't have to edit. I'm still floored that you can capture log video on your cell phone, and this is probably the biggest reason why I have a Pro iPhone. However, capturing these log files, the files are pretty large and they do require some post-processing, so that's why I appreciate apps like Kino. Plus, these apps don't feel that clinical and they feel pretty polished right out of camera. This is just something that the base iPhone doesn't offer, and this is where the Pro really earns its name. When you're choosing a Pro iPhone, you're also getting the telephoto lens, and on the 17, we got the 4X and the 8X lens. But after 3 months, honestly, how much am I using this lens? Don't get me wrong, I use the telephoto all the time, and with the iPhone 15 and the iPhone 16, they had different focal lengths for their telephoto lens, and I think the 4X on the iPhone 17 Pro is the best focal length that they could have chosen for this telephoto. I hope that the 4X sticks around for future Pro iPhones. So as I scroll through my camera roll, how many of these photos are actually shot on the 4X and the 8X lens? I'm seeing a lot of photos shot on the main and the ultra wide camera, mostly the main, and realistically, what I'm seeing the most is a lot of screenshots. There are some photos and videos that have been shot on the telephoto lens, but they're shot at 4X, not at this 8X focal length. So what about macro? Well, to get beautiful macro photos, I do find you need to switch your brain into that pro photographer, videographer mindset to get stunning looking macro photos. And realistically, from my testing, the best macro photos and videos you can get is using a dedicated macro lens like the ones that Moment offers. I find that those are really gorgeous with a shallow depth of field in the background and a really crisp subject. The macro on my iPhone 17 Pro is typically used for scanning barcodes or QR codes or for photographing receipts, just items I'm shooting close up. Do I even deserve the Pro model of this phone? So one of the features that got me genuinely excited about the new iPhone 17 series was faster charging. And now after using this phone for a couple months, I can genuinely say that the charging is quite a bit faster. And this is something that I noticed and came in pretty handy while traveling. So I think to get the most benefits out of this quick charging for your phone, you're supposed to use this special power brick that Apple created. It's like 65 watts and it's got adaptive power or something. I've never used that. I've just been using higher wattage power bricks and this 3-in-1 charger from Kixu. So this tiny little cube, this little Oreo you might call it, is a 3-in-1 charger. It can charge your phone, it can charge your AirPods, and it can charge your Apple Watch all at the same time. In November, I visited France and Germany with my family, and while traveling, space is everything. I just brought 2 USB-C cables along, one for my laptop and one for the Kixu charger. So instead of having 3 separate cords and maybe even 3 separate power bricks to charge your devices is pretty awesome. You never know if your hotel nightstand is going to be spacious or not, so having all of your devices charging in such a compact space is pretty awesome. Plus, when you put your phone horizontally on the top charging pad, standby mode kicks in and it looks pretty beautiful. Kixu also has this real small, real slim 65-watt charger with 2 USB-C ports. And for traveling, I found this pretty nice because, in Europe and other parts of the world, they don't accept this 2-prong outlet. And I was able to just slide on the proper power adapter for the country I was in. I mean, it's not tiny, but in comparison to these power adapters that you need to bring along, and then you also need to bring a power brick and plug it in, this is pretty slim. So if you're looking for a great power solution and one that's stylish, check these guys out. Pretty great. Evidently, while I was traveling in Europe, I found I used my phone more. I was using it for maps, I was using it to look up locations and hours and stuff, and I was also using it to take the most amount of photos and videos, even more than the camera that I brought along. I don't know about you, but I found that while traveling, my battery seems to die a little quicker than my typical day-to-day use when I'm back at home. So these midday stops back at the hotel for a couple minutes or at cafes were really important to juice up my phone really quickly. And like I said, this phone charged a lot quicker than my 16, my 15, all of the other phones before it. This is one of those upgrades that doesn't really sound that exciting, but it actually changes how I use my phone. So I also brought along my Sony and my small Fuji camera along to Europe. And honestly, I took a lot of photos using those cameras, but those photos are still on the hard drives. I did get one post up on social media, but that was such a grind to get these photos off, to edit them, to queue up a post. The photos that I shot on my cell phone went onto social media right away. And I would prefer to share the camera photos, but the photos and videos that were most easily accessible to me were the ones that got shared to social media and stories the quickest. You know what's still on the iPhone 17 series? The camera control button. And do I use it? No, I still don't use this button. I mean, I kind of do. Sometimes it just launch the camera really quickly, but I'm not using it how Apple's designed you to use it. This year we got this really weird looking design of the iPhone 17 Pro, and that's largely because there's this new cooling chamber in the back of the phone. It's been winter here in Canada where I live, and my phone has not overheated yet. Probably because it's cold, probably not because I've been using it a bunch or this cooling chamber, so I can't really talk too much to that cooling chamber. You might have noticed between my previous iPhone videos and now, I used to have the orange phone, I got the silver. I really like that orange color, but just with the cases and I don't know, I went silver. I'm not regretting it. This is actually the first time I've had a lighter iPhone and it feels pretty good. We've got this huge camera bump on the back of the phone. I thought I would hate it. I really didn't like the design when I saw it for the first time. It's grown on me. I don't think I like it. I think it's just, I've looked at it so much that I think I like it. It's not mind-blowing, it's not transformative, but it is kind of unfortunate that every year you need to buy different cases for your new phone. So who are these Pro models really for? I mean, if you're someone who travels a lot, if you're using your iPhone as an actual dedicated camera, I know a couple people like this, the stuff is insane you can get out of here. Or if you just really value flexibility and you want to just buy something and it just works great, I think the Pro is great for you. But if you're just using your phone to take casual photos and videos and you're using it to do actual phone things like emails and surf the web and all of that, I think the base model is pretty great for most people. 3 months later, I don't think that the iPhone 17 Pro is about having the best camera. It's about whether you actually want to think like a camera user or if you want to just capture life quickly and move on. My name's Davey. Thanks for letting me spill the gravy, and we'll see you in the next one.